From the makers of DayZ Standalone, everyone's favorite open-world PvP early access survival game, comes Vigor, a open-world PvP early access survival game. Are you joking, Bohemia Interactive? Early access open world survival game. For the people who have some deja vu right now, feeling like you've heard this before, let me kind of clarify why you might be feeling that way. And that's because back in 2013, Bohemia Interactive, the same company that's releasing an open world survival game now, also released a open world early access survival game called DayZ Standalone, and it was playable in June of 2013 at E3. So this game was playable, remember that. It was playable in June of 2013. And if you fly over to 2018 now, present day, the game still is within early access. So the game 5 years after it was even playable is still not completed yet. And you can tell why some people are a little bit upset with Bohemia Interactive about their open world survival game that everybody really liked back in that time. You know, DayZ mod was huge and very popular, and when DayZ Standalone comes out and it isn't developed very much at all for 5 years, you can tell why some people might have some deja vu when Bohemia comes out with another open world PvP survival game that is also not done yet. Vigor. It looks like a cool game. The graphics are good, the landscape is good, the Norwegian countryside is beautiful, and the buildings are beautiful, and the character design is cool as well. The weapons look good. But when I looked at the gameplay, I could not feel like this was a solid experience or like this was ever going to be. First off, let's get to the structure of the gameplay itself. This game is not based off any Bohemia engine whatsoever. This is based off of not even the Envision engine, which they made for their open world PvP survival game. This is based on Unreal Engine, which is interesting. Why would they have Envision, which they already made for DayZ Standalone, and decide to make an entirely different game on an entirely different engine for Xbox? Even though DayZ Standalone was apparently coming to Xbox at some point, right? Well, I'm not really sure if it was Xbox or PS4, but it was coming to a console at some point. What this says to me is that the guys over at Bohemia have built this game on top of a pre-existing platform, of a pre-existing engine, so that it's just easy to develop and most likely will cost less and create less of a hassle rather than adapting their current engine to create this game. And what that means also to me is that they're not putting that much development pressure into this game. I mean, the Envision engine was seriously made for this type of game, and yet why are they not using it? But again, game development is very hard. That could be a very complex thing, and that was just a lot of speculation. What I also wanted to talk about today as a main point in this video is how creative they are with their ideas with this title. Is this title truly their genre, or is it somebody else's that they're taking the ideas from?
Yeah. So I'm getting Battle Royale vibes, but I'm also getting real survival
Not
vibes.
really.
That's the thing.
Okay.
Because Vigor is like genre on its own. Because when you enter the encounter, you can leave it anytime you want.
Okay.
Like, there are exit points on the map, and if you just don't feel like it and you have your bag full of resources and materials and you don't want to risk it,
Okay.
you can leave.
So you're really looking to scavenge as much as
Yes.
possible.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
That's your main
Yeah, that's
objective.
fair.
That's the thing you do.
So this is kind of
Because-
true post-apocalyptic survival.
Definitely.
In the
Yeah,
true sense,
definitely, because this is what you would do if you were there. You would be
See.
trying to gather as much as it's possible and to survive.
The game is Escape from Tarkov. The game is Hunt Showdown. It's the same thing. You get into an area, you have a battle royale sort of type of combat where there's people everywhere. You have to loot buildings. You have to find objects in the wasteland or something. So you have to move around. You have to keep on your toes at all times for other players that are around you. And then once you're done, let's say you find a really, really nice sniper rifle or a really cool shiny piece of metal or something that you want to go and mine, smelt or something. You want to escape because you don't want other players to steal that from you. So you go and run towards an extract point and you get out. I just described Hunt Showdown, Escape from Tarkov, and now Vigor at the same time. And I feel like Hunt Showdown actually has a very similar, almost a copied meta to Escape from Tarkov. And I don't know if Escape from Tarkov's idea is original either, but I feel like Hunt Showdown did a really amazing job at changing that meta and making it their own and making it a very interesting experience where it is an extract. Like, you get in, you loot stuff, you can bring a big gun if you want, you can bring a small gun if you want, you know, you can risk for reward, and you can escape at any point in the match. And I feel like that's very similar to Escape from Tarkov, but I feel like they changed it enough to make it a original idea. I mean, this gameplay meta is copy-paste Escape from Tarkov. You have a stash system, which is your camp at home. You have a risk and reward. You can bring weapons in. You can bring a big gun, as I was saying before. You can bring a small gun. You have a lot of Russian weapons and Russian and Eastern European landscape and stuff. If it felt like this game had a very original idea to it, I would be happy. I would be okay with this, because the gameplay genre of the Escape from Tarkov area of games is very interesting, and I really like it. I play Tarkov almost every day now, and although I criticize the game for its bugs and its problems, it is the top contender in its class. It is doing great. I mean, that game is awesome. When you get in a good fight in that game, there is no other game that can compare to the stress and the insanity that Escape from Tarkov can be sometimes. But when I look at this gameplay, it just looks clunky and uninspired, and it just looks basic. I don't really have any other opinion on it. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It's not terrible, but it doesn't look like anything special. It doesn't look like anything that's worth jumping out from your standard PC audience and going all the way to Xbox exclusive with. And why is it Xbox exclusive? Was there an audience for this on Xbox that I didn't know of that hasn't already just been playing PUBG? Or wait, did they want to attract the PUBG audience with a Battle Royale game? But they said it wasn't a Battle Royale game in the E3.
I'm getting Battle Royale vibes, but I'm also getting real survival
Not
vibes
really.
as
That's
well.
the thing.
But they have Battle Royale, the words, in the HTML of their website, even though they said in the press conference that it wasn't a Battle Royale game, that it was its own genre. Its own genre is Tarkov. It copied Tarkov. Let's look at Bohemia's developed games on their Wikipedia right now and just look at how they've been doing recently. In 2013, they released actually one of my favorite games by them, ARMA 3. After putting in a fake birthday, ARMA 3's recent reviews say 84% liked this game. Good for Bohemia. Then in 2017, we have another PC release called Take on Mars. Looks like this game didn't do so well. It got 54% positive, so it was a mixed game. The top review says this game had potential, but it still feels extremely incomplete despite being in released status, almost as if the early access never really ended. Then they released Project Argo. Project Argo has a 50% rating on Steam. DayZ, their open-world zombie survival game. DayZ has a 43% rating on Steam at the moment. The top review is, I literally started and finished my PhD before this game made it out of early access. The flagship for why you shouldn't buy early access games. To be announced, Ylands, which is their new early access title, which is more of an arcadey game. Ylands has a 54% user reviews. I don't buy games that have microtransaction models in a paid-for game. Got it for my 3 kids, ages 5 to 9, and they enjoyed it for a bit, then microtransactions. Although I really appreciate Bohemia for creating one of my favorite game series of all time, I really do feel as if in the past 5 years they've focused away from their flagship game that everybody really enjoyed, and they focused on games that they almost started just neglecting almost months after release. A lot of games are either unfinished or filled with microtransactions, or just are very, very small production, low expense games whatsoever. Like Argo, which on the Wikipedia says it's entirely its own game, is totally not its own game. Argo is flat out, I mean, this is objective as I can be. It is a game mode for ARMA 3 that was made free to play, and then they added paid skins onto Argo so that they could make money off of a game mode of ARMA 3. And although this was a fully PvP experience, Argo, it didn't have any PvP mechanics whatsoever that were necessary to make it a competitive title, which is what it wanted to be. And when criticized by the entire fan base, including myself, for not really being a competitive game, what did they do? They just made paid skins in the game, and they added maybe a few more game modes, and then nobody played it anymore, just because there was no fixes to the networking, the gameplay at all. With most of the games they've released in the past 5 years being extremely small games, either they've lowered the amount of people in their office, or they are indeed working on the next ARMA game. ARMA games take a long time to develop, and I honestly feel like that could be possibly the case. But I feel like if they're going to go onto an entirely separate platform and make a early access survival game when they're not even done with their early access survival game that they had started in 2013, I feel like that's a kick in the face. I feel like that's just saying, give us more money, trust us one more time, even though for the past 5 years, Bohemia Interactive's games that they've always released have been controversial in their reviews, especially their post-apocalyptic early access survival games. But we don't know. This might be an entirely different story. There might be an entirely new team on this game. I really just hope that Vigor can pull it through and not be, you know, a 50% game, because I really do think that Bohemia needs to fix this. They need to fix this downward spiral that they're going in with their games, and I really do think that maybe they're hiding something that'll impress us when it comes out, but I really do think that it's almost time for something to come out. ARMA 3 is 5 years old now, almost 5 years old. DayZ Standalone is still in work, still in progress. It is also 5 years old since it was playable. Not even since it was released. Since it was playable, it was 5 years old now. And Vigor is not even born yet Vigor shows signs of it being a unoriginal game concept put on Xbox just to try to get the Xbox PUBG audience into their version of Battle Royale. Again, for anybody that's thinking about, you know, possibly being interested in this game, I would say as objectively as I can, I fairly reviewed Bohemia's past with certain games like this in this video today, and I think that that'll allow you to make a strong judgment on if you should be interested in buying this game or not. I think if you hold off for a few weeks and see how it is about a month after release, maybe it'll be good, maybe it'll be a great game, but we don't know that, and honestly, in the past, Bohemia hasn't been so trustworthy with a lot of their games, especially games like open world survival games. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.